So I've decided to challenge myself and sign up for a run and gun competition. And for those of you who don't know what a run and gun is, it pretty much consists of you running for a couple of miles and having to engage targets throughout various stages during that run. And I've never done anything like this before. Most of the competitions I've done up to this point have been stationary and controlled stages that don't require a lot of exertion on the physical end. But if you want to get better at your craft, you can't do it in your comfort zone. And that's something I wanted to attack by participating in this match. This is going to be a two-part series, and in this video, I'm going to do a shakedown of all the gear that I decided to bring and use during this match. And then in the second part of this series, you're going to actually see the competition. So I'm going to have my camera with me. I'm going to film as much as I can, and you'll see, you know, my mistakes or my shortcomings, as well as some things that I excel at this match, and hopefully some things that can maybe help you if you decide to participate in a competition like this. So yeah, we'll start with the gear, and then like I said, we'll jump right into training, and then I'll probably use some of the drills that I have in my Fundamental Range Day ebook. So if you haven't seen that yet or decide to check that out yet, the link is in the description below. It'll take you straight to the ebook, and then you'll get a plethora of good drills you can do at an indoor and outdoor range. I made it pretty easy for anyone to use, so definitely check that out. Before we get too far in this video, I'd like to thank our channel sponsor, Obsidian Tactics. Obsidian Tactics is an online retailer that offers a curated selection of high quality and high value products that have been vetted throughout the 2A community. A lot of the items they offer are well-known brands that you may already be looking to purchase. So go ahead and visit Obsidian Tactics for all your 2A needs and wants. All right, back to the video. So what is a run and gun? Like I said before, it consists of running and shooting. Both of these portions are scored 50-50. So how you score on your stages is 50% of your score, and then how fast you run and how quickly you make it through the run and gun as another 50% of your score. And with those together will put you in your placement out of, you know, X amount of people. I believe there's gonna be over 100 people participating in this, so I definitely wanna push myself to finish up towards the higher end of the leaderboard. So what I'll do is start with the guns first, because that's very simple, and then we'll move over to other supporting gear. So as you'll see here, I have my M&P 4¼ inch. Now, most of you guys, if you've been watching for a while, I've been running the 5-inch. But recently, I took this out probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been in the safe because I've been running the 5-inch exclusively. And I decided to run it at a couple of matches, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to prefer this over the 5-inch, not because it shoots softer, but like the return to zero seems to be quicker and more straightforward. I really don't know how to explain it. The 5-inch is very soft, but I feel like it takes a long time for the slide to get back to reciprocate to where I wanna be. This is just snappier. Yeah, I do feel the violence, but I feel like I can just pop off shots quicker and more accurately. It's definitely a perception thing. I don't think that either one is gonna do you any wrong. The 5-inch is probably better for velocity, but again, I don't know how far we're shooting out. I think the 4¼ inch is gonna be just fine for what I think I'm gonna need it for. But yeah, I got the M&P 4¼ Surefire X300 down here, Apex trigger, and a Holston 507C. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be running on my pistol. And then my rifle setup is a little bit different from my last couple of videos, and that's because I typically run this as like a DMR kind of setup where I have my Arca rail and I have my tripod on it. And with the Arca rail, I'm able to adjust where I want my tripod. But for the sake of this match, I wanted to cut weight anywhere I could. And from what I've seen, there's typically 1 to 2 long range stages. A lot of the guys were able to clear it without using a tripod. So could I do it faster with a tripod? Definitely. But am I really gonna carry all that weight just for one stage? Like running 4 or 5 miles with all this heavy weight just to use it one time. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna take the bipod off. And what I'm gonna do today is actually shoot long range with the setup and see what I can do and what's possible for me. So that'll determine, you know, if I'm actually gonna do it without the bipod, but as of right now, I don't see me putting the bipod on for this race. So up here, I've got my light, which is not gonna be necessary. It's during the daytime. I have my rail skills because my hands get very sweaty, and since I'm gonna be running, it's gonna definitely assist with gripping the gun. I have my primary arms 1 to 10, and this is the GLX with the Griffin Mill reticle. I'm able to, you know, account for windage and elevation within the scope with holdovers, or I can dial. I prefer doing holdovers because it's just faster, and for a match like this, I feel like if I dial and I forget to dial back, I'm gonna screw myself for the rest of the match. And I have a 100-yard zero on here. Top mounted red dot, and this is exclusively for when I'm shooting at range. I typically don't even use this when I'm shooting indoors or I'm shooting within 25 yards. because I've learned my holdovers for the 100-yard zero. And even though I'm not perfect at it, I'm good enough to where I'm still hitting within half an inch of where I'm actually aiming with my holdovers. The mount is an American Defense mount, and I like those because they got quick release, and I can throw this on any other gun if I decide to switch things up. I have the BCM charging handle. It's the Warfighter, I believe, and I just like it because it's ambidextrous. I got my Trigger Tech duty trigger, which is, I believe it's a 3.5 pound, two-stage trigger. I've been running this for a very long time, and it's honestly probably one of my favorite triggers unless I try something else, because I'm really bad at trying new gear out. I just kind of rock with the same thing until something breaks or I actually outgrow it, which is very rare because, you know, training is just an ongoing process. Now the sling is different. I used to run the Edgar Sherman sling, and I still have that, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I want to try this Lunar Concepts padded sling. And I've really been enjoying it because when I'm wearing this rifle for long periods of time, the Edgar Sherman sling would kind of dig into my shoulder. But with this padded sling, I'm able to just, you know, not even think about discomfort when it comes to shoulder placement of the sling. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I have the B5 system SOP mod stock, and I do have, I forgot what this is called. It's a 3D printed piece that goes on the bottom of this to give you more of a flat surface for when you're shooting off a bag. But I'm not gonna be shooting off a bag for this, this match, so I just left it on there because what's the point of taking that on and off? It weighs literally nothing. Okay, moving over here, the first thing we're gonna talk about is the belt. So this is my normal Safe Life Defense belt. Nothing really special on here. I keep this pretty slick, minus a dump pouch. I do wanna change my dump pouch, and I wanna really emphasize that what you're about to see here is not a typical loadout. This is specifically for the running gun. So I've slimmed everything down so I can stay as mobile as possible while having the necessities. This is not a going to combat loadout. This is not a, you know, SHTF loadout. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at this. Like, as you'll see, I don't have my medic stuff back here or anything like that, because I have that actually in my chest rig. But on here, I have 2 pistol mags and a rifle mag. And my plan for this is to actually not use these when I'm loading up for a stage. It's actually to exclusively use this for reloads, because I'm gonna have everything that I need up here for loading my mags and getting ready, because when you're running, both your firearms have to be completely empty. So I'm not gonna be loading them with these, I'm gonna be loading them with what I have on my person. And then I have a dump pouch, which I'm probably gonna take off because I am not gonna use this, because once you start using this and then you start running, this is gonna be hitting me over and over and over again and adding extra weight on my lower back. So this will probably come off. I just kept it on here because, I mean, haven't really gotten to it yet. And then over here, as you guys know, I typically run the T-Rex arms Ragnarok, but because there may be obstacles in this match, if your gun falls out of your holster at any point, you're DQ'd from the entire thing. So I got this Tier 1 concealed, I forgot what this is called, but it's a Tier 1 concealed holster that just has this. And the reason why I got this over Safariland was just because it's cheaper, and I'm able to fit my other gun with the 507 comp in here. So I was gonna run the 507 comp, but then I was like, I'm just gonna try this out. The 407C isn't a bad optic or red dot. Yeah, I'm gonna have this up when I'm running around going through obstacles, and then when I get to a stage where I'm about to shoot, I'll just pop that open and use it like I normally would with the Ragnarok. But yeah, that's the belt. And what I'm gonna do is actually throw this down here. All right, so I guess I'll go with my FlatPack or flat backpack. So this was actually a suggestion that I got from my buddy Tim. He ran this, or he's been running this, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks or maybe even longer than that. I thought this was a great idea. I didn't want to run with a backpack. That was my original idea, but I felt like backpacks are just, it would be a lot of movement behind me. And this, I've been wearing this for just a couple of days. Like, I just got this, and it seems to be very snug on my back without giving up too much real estate. So in here, I tried to keep it minimal. As you guys can see on the back, there's a MOLLE if you want to attach this to a placard or anything like that. I'm just gonna be wearing it as a backpack, so it's on and off if I need to reach in there to get some essential tools, which I'll show you in a second. Also, I have my bladder, water bladder in there. So I have about 1 liter of water in there that I think is gonna be perfect enough for that amount of running. So I'll start with the top pocket. Actually, I'll start with the main pocket. In here, I have nothing special. Like, I wanted to keep nothing in here. So I have this random manual for my hydration bladder. And then I have like a gator neck, which I'm just gonna leave in there. And then up top, I have my therm case, which holds extra batteries and stuff like that, because if something dies out there, I mean, you're kind of screwed. So I wanted to make sure I had extra batteries. I have a microfiber cloth, and then I have like a little bit set just in case anything breaks. I don't predict anything breaking because I do keep up with my gear pretty often, or pretty well. But if something were to go down, at least I have the option to fix it. And then over here, I have my rifle and pistol cleaning kit. And the main reason I'm bringing this is because I have a segmented cleaning rod that I can use just in case if I get a squid or anything like that, I can use this to unjam my gun. So this is very important. This is something that I felt like was a necessity, but probably won't need it, but it's good to have it. And that's the backpack. The backpack is very simple. I don't want to put too much stuff in there. And then this is where the bulk of my stuff is. Again, I want to keep this as light as possible. I took a lot of stuff out. So as you guys know, this is, if you've watched my chest rig video, this is the T-Rex Arm quad chest rig, and you're able to fit 2 rifle mags in each of these pouches, at least 2 AR-15 mags, but I only have 1 in here for each one, and that's because weight savings. And a cool thing that I did, which I don't even know if you guys will be able to see it, but what I did, actually, I don't have it done properly right now just because I forgot to change it. But what I'm gonna do is the 3 mags here, I'm gonna use my tan mags. And the reason for that is I'm gonna use 55 grain ammo. So I'm gonna have my tan magazines full of 55 grain, and then I'm gonna have my black magazines with 77 grain. And I'm gonna use that specifically for long range. So I'm gonna swap this one out because I don't think, I wanna have at least 2 magazines worth of 77 grain. So I'm gonna have 2 black and then 3 tan. I think that should be more than enough ammo. They recommended that we have 80 rounds of 5.56. So I have what? That's 90, that's 60. So I have 150 rounds plus the 30 down there. So I have 180 rounds, I have double. And this is not heavy at all. So yeah, I'm gonna run, what, 6 AR-15 mags in the main compartments. And then on this side, I have my GP pouch. And in this first zipper, I have my waterproof pen. And then I actually stuck my Holosun red dot tool. And the good thing is, like with this bit set, it actually works with other items that I have on me. So I wanted to have something that was quick and easy to access, as opposed to having to take my backpack off and pull out my entire bit set. So this can actually help small fixes if needed. And then in my GP pouch, funny enough, I have nothing but pistol mags. And I'm gonna have a good bit of pistol mags, and they're all gonna be fully loaded. I'm gonna have about 9 pistol mags with me. So 9 times 17, you guys do the math. That's how much ammo I'm gonna have for pistol. And it's probably overkill. I know guys that are bringing a good bit less, but I can't account for how good of a shooter I'm gonna be under stress and under duress, because you're gonna be running. And I predict that there could be a good bit of misses, and I don't wanna feel like I have to stop a stage early because I wanna save ammo to finish the actual competition. I wanna be able to just shoot as much as I want, not have to think twice about it. So yeah, this is just pistol mags, pretty simple. Oh, and I have my gloves. And the reason for that is, I don't know, again, like I said, my hands get really sweaty. I have rail scales on here, but I don't have anything like, I don't have any, I forgot what it's called, the carbo whatever, on this grip. So if my hands get sweaty, I'm gonna be slipping and sliding on that. So I have gloves just in case I feel like, you know, my grip is getting really bad. In this hydration bag, this is actually meant for a canteen. I have, well, this is actually not coming with me. I just have nowhere else to put this. This is for my Wallaby pouch, which I'm gonna have rolled up. But I just have a boo-boo kit, right? And then what I'm gonna have is some snacks in here. So something that has some sugar in it, maybe some dry cereal or something, just to have something to keep me fueled while I'm running, because you're gonna be exerting a lot of energy. And then I'm also gonna use this, I'm gonna double this as my dump pouch. So when I'm running out of magazines and stuff, if I don't feel like throwing it in my bag, because I'm gonna set up my bag in a way to where the zipper is gonna be on top, and I can unzip it over my shoulder and throw a mag in there that's been used all the way. If I feel like I'm running out of time or I wanna save time, I'm gonna use this as a dump pouch as well. So I might be able to, I can fit like maybe 3 pistol mags in here behind the boo-boo kit, and that could save me some time. I have no idea, but I wanted to leave a little bit of extra room and a little bit of available space that's easy to get to, that's, you know, in front of me for this match. So it's just my thought process. I don't know if it's actually gonna help me in any way, but, and then the last thing is on the back. And This was something I was debating on, or I guess it's two things. I have my tourniquet right here because I just want to have one on body just in case. And then one thing that I was going back and forth with was if I wanted to bring my radio. And this was because it's added weight, you know, and the PTT is added weight. But they sent out a email saying, you know, you are responsible for your own health and well-being. And I feel like this is something that I just need to have on me at all times because I'm gonna be running through the woods in some pretty remote areas. And if something were to happen to me, let's say I rolled my ankle really, really bad, or you know, I passed out and I woke up, I don't know, something bad happens, I want to be able to use this as an emergency form of communication. So I decided to leave my radio on here. Will it bite me in the butt? I don't know, but safety does come first. You know, these matches are really fun, but as you guys know, we're handling guns and a lot of other things. And with me having to exert myself, and I've never done this before, I think it's good to have a radio on me just because I don't know what to expect. So yeah. That is all the gear that I'm gonna be taking with me. But what I'm gonna do now is throw all this stuff on and I'm gonna get some good quality reps in. I wanna definitely run around, you know, try to get my heart rate up and then shoot with my heart rate up. And then once I'm done with this range, I wanna move over to the long range and do some just, you know, shooting at distance without a bipod. And I wanna see how consistent and how well I can do and see my limits. You know, I'm predicting 300 to 400 yards I can do pretty well, but the 500 yards is something I want to try because I believe there may be a 600 yard target and I don't know how big it is. So yeah, let me throw all this gear on and we'll get some training in. All right, so we're here at the long range bay. And what I'm gonna do is just get a couple of reps in, shooting at 100 yards offhand. No stabilization, no support, nothing like that. So I'm gonna get a couple shots in at 100 yards steel, then a couple shots at 200 yards steel. And I wanna see how consistent I am doing it unsupported. And then I'll move over to one of these benches and do supported shots a little further out. And then I wanna see if I can go prone or shoot supported at 500. That's gonna be the biggest challenge probably at this running gun. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, that's 4 shots. Let's go to 200. All right, so that's 200. I'll attempt the 300, but I don't know if I'm gonna be hitting all that. All right, so that's pretty hard at 300. So what I'm gonna do now, go supported, and I'm gonna go from 300 all the way out to 400. All right, let's try the 400. All right, not too successful there. So I'm actually gonna go prone now and see what I can do at the 400, 500 range going prone. Sweet. I believe that's 400, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. 368, so not necessarily 400. There is a 545 out there that I want to hit. This will determine if I'm gonna have a bipod or not. Right now, I do not see myself putting on the bipod. Okay, it's going to the right. Let me try that over here. Not seeing my hits out there. Hit. Hit. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I am really excited for this match and what it's gonna push me to do. I'm gonna try to get as much footage as I can during each stage so that I can share that experience with you guys. As you saw, I do have another camera I use now for kind of more POV shots, and then I also have a scope cam that I can use for the long range portion. I really enjoy this hobby, and this match is gonna be very, very challenging, and that's why I enjoy this hobby, because there are so many ways you can push yourself out of your comfort zone and push yourself to being even better at it. Again, if you're looking for more drills you can run at an indoor range or an outdoor range, definitely go into the description and get my fundamental range day guide. I have, I believe, 12 to 16 drills in there. I can't remember the exact number, so don't quote me on that, but I have a good bit of drills in there that you guys can do. It explains how to set them up, how to run them, and then what you should be looking for when running these drills, such as, you know, grip or vision or other things that may show up during a course of fire. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.